Push.
We made it to Venice. Look at that.
When we walked over, a boat came out of it.
There's a boat right here, man.
I said it's a freaking Cadillac on the water.
Welcome to Venice, y'all. We arrived here kind of late. I guess our plane landed. I don't really know what time o'clock, but it was dark and everything was closed when we arrived. And we are actually staying on the little island, like the main island of Venice, like the old school area with all the canals and stuff. So we went through these cobblestone roads and stuff at night, and we dropped off our bag at our wonderful Airbnb, which we'll show you later because it's amazing. And we asked our host where we could get some food, and it's now like 1 in the morning, and he was like, there's this one 24-hour restaurant that's opened in the old town in Venice here, and you can go over there and you can get a pizza for like 12 euros, and that's where we're at. And we've got this amazing looking pizza and 2 glasses of wine, and I just threw some vegetables on that pizza because that's what I'm down on lately. And this is my first Italian pizza up in the Italy's. It started to rain quite hard, apparently. We're sitting right by the little river here, and I can see all the rain like falling on the water and stuff, and the sound of it on the roof and stuff. This is like a perfect moment we're having right now. But anyway, pizza. It's a very wholesome flavored pizza. It's very heavy on dough. The sauce doesn't bring a lot to us, but the vegetables are good. The pepper is good. The mushroom is really good. To be real, the best part about everything here is just the situation we're in right now. And this rain getting stronger. It's 1 a.m. We're in Venice. My brain is exploding. What's up, y'all?
Yeah, so he said you'll go down here, you'll get to the end of the road, and you'll find their place. And the thing he told me to look for was this serial code. Like, he told me to look for that, and then you'd find where you need to be. And it just looks like somebody would have that written on their prison uniform. And that's what it looks like.
It's like pushing 3 in the morning now, and we're just wide awake, and we've had a little bit too much wine, but we've managed to find the way back after the pizza to the Airbnb. Katie found it. I can't find it at all. She's over there like, wee, you didn't do anything. I'm just like wobbling around. So we're gonna show you the Airbnb now because there's nobody else staying in there right now, and I think that'd be a good time to do it. So let's just say that it's down some like windy little roads and stuff over this amazing little lagoon with these little bridges, and it's like mind-boggling looking. And then you go in like this.
Chinese?
Yeah.
Jackson 5 live here. We got a bit of a discount on this because they're still kind of working on it, and we're one of the first people to stay in it, so awesome. But also it means going up these scary stairs in the middle of the night when it's dark and wet and whatnot. This is the second key. Yes! Oh man, I really thought I was going down a bad road. Third key. We probably should have checked all this before we left. There we go. Come on. So this is an Airbnb, and I believe that the guy that owns the place is doing multiple apartments, and there is a common area. It's big. Seats, stuff. Wouldn't say anything super important, but it's where you go for our room. Fourth key.
I don't think we locked this.
Oh,
we're the only
good.
ones here.
I'm done with keys. Seriously. I have to say that we have a discount on this room. We ripping him off for real. Oh my god. We're in the middle of Venice. We're paying $65 a night, which is, we try to stay 50 or lower. So I was willing to probably take it up to 75 a night for Venice, which just meant we probably won't spend a whole lot of time there. It just means we're gonna go a little more expensive, but put everything very succinct. But $65 a night, and I don't feel so bad. Big ass bed. The windows are not a view. It's a bit of construction. But one thing we're excited about, there we go. It's a shower, and the fan just went like,
Have you seen what we've got here?
You're supposed to come up to the glass. I'm trying to get your attention.
Oh, am I a fish? Dude, no, turn around. Look what we got.
Leopards?
No.
Oh, and the dual thing? Do I pee in this? What do I do in this? I wash my butt in there?
It's not a robot, so it is a little confusing, isn't it?
It's got like eyes and a big mouth nose thing. Oh, this is the nose, and that's, I don't know.
It looks like that robot that wanted to stab Bender.
Yeah, there's that, and it also looks like, what's the thing that Bowser's having sex with that's making stuff?
Birdo?
Birdo.
What are you talking about?
That's Birdo.
No.
That's what I see.
No.
Bowser, what? Sorry, I'm really sorry.
We've had too much wine. What Katie's trying to talk about is there's a theory that Bowser and Princess Birdo. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It's time for bed.
Got my jammies on now. And that's when you really start assessing your hotel room. And I feel like maybe the floor is not even. So let me just walk up.
Yeah, dude, it seems like we're going uphill.
Alright, we're just gonna put the pachinko ball. Let the pachinko ball tell us what's up. Yeah. Here it comes.
That's a pretty vicious roll, man.
It's going down, down, down. You have a few sips of some alcohol and then you wonder if your hotel room is warped. No, it's just that it's weird. And that's okay. A little bit of Alice in Wonderland for your evening. My shoes are really wet.
Good morning, Venice. We have, we woke up a little late today, I guess. We got out the door right around noon or something, maybe a little bit
Noon
before.
their time, but it's actually like 11 a.m.
Yeah, because we're in a different time zone still, because we're still in Scotland.
Some of us woke up at 8:30 this morning.
Well, I didn't go to bed till 4 last night, so to be completely fair, I need a lot of sleep because that's how I roll. But we just looked at the Google map. I typed in like restaurants, right? And I was like, okay, where are we gonna go get some like breakfast / lunch? And this place came up that shows that they had like pasta to go. And we were like, okay, pasta to go.
I instantly thought that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I was just like, it just looks like Chinese food boxes
Chinese food boxes.
that have pasta in them. And yeah, they're saying it's fresh, but then you told me that it's got like super reviews.
Yeah. So the Google reviews are like incredible, like really, really strong. So I was like, okay, let's just go over there. It sounds like it'll be somewhat affordable. So we rolled over there, and it's in this tiny little offset alley. And what the first thing you notice is on your way there are other places that are imitations of this place.
Yeah.
And
Guy had me convinced, seriously. I was looking at him and he looked like so chef-esque.
oh, like at the other one that said
and I
pasta
was
to
like,
go.
Okay. okay,
So
maybe this is it. And then
the
we
impression
pushed.
that we're under is the place we landed is the original, and there was quite a crowd standing around, and we went inside, and you order based on sauce, and he has it broken up into like vegetable and meat and fish, and then you choose your noodle, and then you choose any toppings you want, and then they throw it, like we said, into a Chinese style box, and they are making the pasta fresh there, like it's falling out of a machine inside the little tiny restaurant that they've got. To call it a restaurant's a stretch. It's more of just like a place to get fresh pasta. And I ended up getting a pesto. I got
Chicken?
olives. No, I didn't get chicken.
just-
It's
okay.
just, there's no meat in mine. And then they threw some cheese on top of it. And if you can hold
I
the
just realized you won't be able to eat that with the camera in your hand.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what we got. And he told us like specifically, dude was really nice. He told us specifically like, make sure that you eat this right now. No matter what we're doing.
You got to follow the chef's recommendation, and we get the impression that he is the person who made the shop. He's
Yeah.
like, these are my sauces, these are my favorites, because when I walked up, well, how's your pesto to begin? You got fettuccine.
I actually just got I got fettuccine. I just got a mouthful of olives, which was a nice flavor.
Be
But
careful.
yeah, I'm trying.
You're gonna get Bjork all dirty.
My bad.
Yeah.
It's a really, the sauce is a pesto, but in my experience, pesto is usually kind of a thin sauce, but this is a fairly thick sauce. There's a lot of flavor in the pesto, and I think it's because I threw the olives in there that made it like that. The pasta's texture is like incredible. Like especially
really
for something,
thick.
especially for something that's coming out of a Chinese box. Dear God, that's pretty good. It's a lot of flavors that I actually don't know if I've ever even had before. Just that intensity of pesto that's going on inside of that.
You got a crap load of Parmesan cheese and some basil in there as well. So that looks really good.
This is spectacular. And you asked what his favorite
when
was?
When I went in there, I said, I just want whatever your favorite is. And I didn't know that I was talking to the guy that looks like he made the shop, but he was like, these are my favorite sauces. And
Like he said
I was
all
like,
of them.
well,
The ones these are my menu.
I was like, well, whatever you'd recommend. And he asked if I wanted like fish, chicken, or whatever. And normally I wouldn't get fish, so just like, I'm going fish. This is the guy that if he's gonna make something good, then the fish will be good. So chose the fish and went with fusilli pasta, and
he seemed
recommended.
proud of you for that for some reason.
Yeah, he was. I think the twist, the screw of the fusilli just sparks the flavor. That's my thoughts. And then I asked him if he recommended any toppings, and he told me the mushrooms, and mushrooms are fantastic. So this is what it looks like. Oh. Definitely got some fish. And by fish, that is includes clams or oysters. I'm not sure which one this is. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of those, but it's still really good. It's a tomato-based sauce, and that's the way to go. But had it been anything else, I think I still would have been happy. But this is really, really good.
How is the noodle?
The noodle is thick, and it's kind of like at the middle is kind of chewy.
Yeah, mine was too.
It's not that it's been like cooked to death, and it shouldn't be. You're in Italy. It's got a chewiness to it, a girth.
Yeah, and both of these together was 15 euros. So I think we don't have a gauge on how expensive things are going to be, and I think things are inflated in Venice for sure. But I don't feel like I got like totally like ripped off there. But maybe a local person would never go there or whatever. Everybody else in line was tourists. But
Yeah, that's true.
I think that for our first like adventure out into the town where we can choose a place, because where we ate last night, it was the only place.
Only place.
I think we've done pretty good, and I'm glad we didn't get tricked by the imitation ones.
Yeah.
And like sidebar, like where we're sitting right now, like you probably notice a lot of people walking by. There's a gazillion tourists here and stuff, and that's cool. But we're sitting on a little bridge, and I'm just gonna pan up, and you can see, like, look at this. Like we're in Venice, like for real. Like, you ever have those moments where you see something and you're like, oh, I'm actually in a place? Like the first time I saw a rice paddy in real life, I was like, whoa, I'm in Asia.
I'm doing that in taste.
If you're curious what a pasta section looks like inside of a Italian supermarket, this is what we got. Do you recognize any brands?
Barilla?
Yeah, it looks like a familiar box,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I've seen that. I've seen this. Co-op, I mean, it's just store brand, so that's nothing big, but yeah. There's like a couple more brands here than I've ever seen, and there's more than is probably necessary, but I'm sure that Italians would disagree with me on that.
So Venice is touristy, right? And we've been here for like 12 hours, and last night was all right as far as like dealing with crowds and stuff, but already I feel extremely high anxiety just from the number of people that are here that are, you know, I mean, tourists are tourists. They were doing the same thing where you're just looking around and you're stopped and like you're in people's way, and it's compounded by how complicated the streets here are and how narrow the streets are, that it gets really easy to just be like, oh my God, like the world is ending, I am having an anxiety attack. And it's not even high season right now, so I can't imagine what it's like.
Yeah.
Like during high season when a cruise ship shows up and all of a sudden there's this like 2,000 extra tourists.
Yeah, like a massive, yeah,
Oh.
2,000 extra tourists from a cruise ship for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
in this small area.
We were just talking about
Madness.
how, like, if you live here, you have got to figure out a way to like navigate around where all the tourists are and stuff. There must be like secret passages and stuff, you know what I mean? And like it's in like this nest and like of little tiny alleyways, like what we just walked down. There's not very many people here. You've got to have a map of that in your head, I think, to maintain your sanity.
How impressed are you that I've gotten us back home?
I have no idea how you found it.
You're doing good.
Sometimes you see pictures of a place before you come there, and then when you get there, you're like, oh, so it's only this little tiny area of this thing that picture is taken from a million different little angles by a bunch of different people that have made this place look way more magnificent than it actually is. This is the opposite. This is a place where I thought that it was going to be like one little canal or something, and like I know that that Venice is built like the way that it's built, but I didn't think it was going to be so extensive, and I didn't think there would be so many bridges. I didn't think there would be so many boats, and I didn't think specifically that the canals were going to be used just by like local people doing their business. Like there's a boat over here with
Filling it up with bananas.
Yeah, they're filling it with bananas, and there's another one.
It's a banana boat.
And there's another boat that's just got like a busted washing machine in it, and like somebody's moving their busted washing machine. And that's just how things are getting moved around inside of the city. And if you lived here, you'd have to have boat access because there's no cars. Like one corner of the island's got a bus station where the buses can come and drop people off because you got to come across the bridge to get to the island. And then after that, there's no way to get around except by foot or by boat. And literally that's like how it works. And
If you move your apartment, I can only imagine how difficult that would be.
you get a boat involved.
You have to get a boat involved. Not only would you'd have to navigate the tiny alleyways to move your stuff.
Yeah.
It could really be hard.
It would be a big hassle. But I like that though. I just like, I mean, and don't get me wrong. There's no shortage of tourist stuff going on. Like those are tourists going by in a gondola, and then there's another one coming over there. There's just like a constant stream of them. But mixed in with all that is like real people stuff. This is what people are doing, and they're living here, and it's all very fascinating, and it's way more extensive than I thought it was. And
I want to go on the banana boat. Where is it going? More bananas. They're coming, they're coming, they're coming. Today we're just wandering. We have absolutely no aim. My only aim was sweets. And we found like a window that has tons and tons of sweets. And most of them seem like small little tarts. And then we saw this kind of a monstrosity and decided we're just gonna go for that. Like that looks really cool. The lady says it's an osone. And it's kind of like a puffed up sugar cake. There are these hard puffed up sugar cakes that Eric really likes. They look like a whip, and Eric will get them and he'll just eat them. And to me, it's sweet air. But what this is, that's the base of osone, and then they put stuff inside of it. So it's more than just sweet air. It's like sweet air with stuff. And this one in particular has almonds and some chocolate on top, and just looks really delicious. And we got our cafe espresso and your cappuccino. Don't know if I've said before, everybody always assumes that whatever I order is his, and it always gets mixed up. Yeah, espresso. So I'm gonna give this a try. This is what they serve this with. It's a small steak knife. Yep, it's just like the sugar thing that you like. You need to saw into it, man. Okay.
It looks like a Rice Krispie treat from this angle.
Yeah, I've got some Rice Krispies. Here's some almonds. Whoa. You will never get one of those again.
Well, I mean, I might if I can't find this because this is the first time I've ever seen one of these.
Woo. Oh, sonne. Ooh. The flavor that came out of that was way more exciting than I ever thought it was gonna be. The bits that are in it, I guess, got cooked in it, or the heat has expressed all of the flavor of the almond. The almond's just blowing up. And the little Rice Krispies, they must be more than just Rice Krispies because there's just this pop of flavor that's ridiculously good. I mean, it could just be sugar. Could just very well be sugar. But really, really good flavor. And I didn't even get into the chocolate. And the dogs are coming. See that corgi? He was just like, I hear you barking, dog. I'm a corgi. Just walked right up to him. Still going. Happy as can be, didn't die earlier.
We've stumbled into a little area of Venice that looks quite a bit different than the areas that we have been in already today. And it's because it's sort of widened out and you're not in these tiny little narrow alleyways like we've been like going through before, which are completely awesome. But the atmosphere here is a much more open feeling. And we looked up like where we were standing next to because the building looked kind of important, and it turns out that it is the shipyard that was super important to Venice way back in the day when they had the Navy and stuff that was controlled out of this area. And they've done lots of trade, and it was an extremely important trade port. And I guess like one of the first major trade ports in the world, or in the modern world anyways, and it was all basically housed in this area. Now it's more of a place that's like a museum and a place you can go and learn and things like that than a functioning trade port. But it still looks very distinct, especially around the rest of the city, which looks distinct in a completely different way. Earlier we had talked about how the area that we're staying in is quite congested with tourists and stuff, and we'd mentioned and shown some of the narrow pathways, and then I had talked about how it got a little bit wider. And what's happened is we've walked east in the city, and it feels a little bit more like this is where people are probably actually living, because you can easily get away from the main roads and then you just feel like you're in little neighborhoods and there's not hordes of tourists and there's not little shops and stuff trying to sell trinkets and all that stuff. It's gone. It feels like you're just like where human beings are living, and they're like hanging their laundry and stuff across the streets, and it just feels more residential, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it still looks like Venice hardcore.
Shit's crooked, right? Or is just like my world off?
Hold on. There we go.
Oh, whoa.
This is the finest piece of art that's ever been created. Is this a robot, like rhinoceros? What are we working with here? This is amazing.
This is Terminator on Safari.
Mind blown. I knew that Venice was famous for its art, but I had no idea we'd be working at this level. This is amazing.
We found something very cool. We were walking back to our Airbnb because you gotta go potty. And
There's no public bathrooms up in this place. Like you gotta pay, I think.
The public bathrooms also, I saw on Google Maps, it writes the price.
Which
like
is handy, but
€1.50.
we're
which is, whoa.
We're also staying near a place. We were walking near our place anyways, so
Yeah.
I just like, okay, let's go to the bathroom.
And out of the corner of my eye, I just saw these jugs and tubes. And I was like, what the hell was that? So I turned around and I went back, and I just saw this man and woman, they're hanging around a computer, and then there's just jugs. And in the far side, I can see some wine bottles, and I was like, this has something to do with some sort of liquid. I'm not sure what you got going on in here. And then I think I was
An educated
thinking,
guess.
I think I was thinking in my head, like my brain just went, sake? You know, like what would I normally think would be like the alcoholic beverage? And then my brain was like, dude, you're in Italy. It's gotta be wine. And I started reading the signs and they all say like vino rosso and vino bianco. And Eric looked at me and was like, you gotta go in there and find out what's going on. And I was like, and I just did it.
It doesn't have a vibe that's like, this is for tourists.
No.
When we did go inside, the only sign that was in English said no wine tasting, which means stop coming in here and asking us for free wine.
Yeah. And I would have asked to taste some things if that were what was going on, but the sign said no. So I stood there for a moment and I kind of just read the signs and I got my bearings on what I was looking at. I knew like this is a red, this is a white, and we were starting to understand the prices, and then another woman came in. I assume she's a local.
Yeah.
And she said, this is a very Venetian thing.
Yeah.
Like.
With a heavy Italian accent.
Yeah. But in English, obviously, because we wouldn't have known what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And
she just went in like she had a normal order.
Yeah,
like she just went and said a thing, and then they serve it in like these
plastic bottles.
So we've bought fuel in these things in Southeast Asia. This is a gas station. Here's another one.
We've got fuel. The lady that went in, the other customer, she got rosé. And that's what we went for.
And I think it's carbonated or something.
Yeah, it's sparkling.
So saying sparkling, right?
So it's and it's also cold. Like it's already cold in the, they serve it cold.
It came out of a different machine than the big jugs. It came out of like a metal box that was probably refrigerated and stuff. Oh. And then they had to do something to it so it would add the sparkling or something. Like she did like some sort of science to make that one.
Interesting. And then I asked the lady that was working there, I said, can you just give us your favorite red wine? And she goes, all in Italian, but all I heard was Bianco. And it was obvious to everyone that lady's just interested in white wines. So we're all just laughing. Like I just asked the white wine lover what red wine to get. So it's kind of stupid, but Eric is a big fan of red wines. And I don't know if I'm a fan of either, but I think you should have a variety.
So you got a pink, which is like half and half.
Yeah. We're actually going to save this for another time because it doesn't need to be refrigerated. So we're going to go for this one because we don't have a refrigerator right now. So this might be the only time to have it at prime shots.
What's amazing about this is that they're serving this in a plastic bottle. And this is like, somehow they sealed it. Interesting. Yeah, so they popped the top off and they filled it right there in front of us out of those big tubes. And this is only like €2, €2.50. So it's like incredibly cheap because you would normally you'd pay like €5 for a glass or something like at a restaurant. Like that wouldn't be uncommon around here.
Yeah, last night we got 2 reds and 2 whites. And
2 of them were 5 and 2 of them were 6.
So we spent about €22
on 4 glasses.
On wine. Yeah.
Which is quite a lot of money.
We just spent 6
on jugs.
And
they're a liter a piece. So this stuff is like really foaming up as you pour it.
Yeah. I think that might be good. I don't know. That's not good.
And excuse us for not having wine glasses. We were going, okay, let's go find wine glasses. Then we're like, we got coffee mugs.
Yeah, we're doing fine. My coffee is going to be a little
stronger than normal in a different way.
Yeah. Okay. Here we
go.
Right.
That's what you're giving me.
I'm not used to it being bubbly, so it actually took a moment for me to.
Yeah, it's quite carbonated. All right, what are we going to tap this to?
To tubes.
To tubes?
Because if I hadn't seen those tubes, this would not be happening. I saw science. I was like, there is some science happening in there, and that's what stopped me. Oh, damn. That's delicious.
It's pretty tasty, man.
Wow.
It's pretty tasty. And for €2 for a liter
€2
in a plastic bottle,
Well, we had to pay for the plastic bottle as well. That was 0.4 euro.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They had a price in the plastic bottles
So that's why
as well.
it ended up being like 6 and not somewhere around 5.
But that was like what we paid for one glass last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be buying it at the store or at the restaurants anymore.
It's kind of scary how cheap this is. We're
Pre-game.
It's kind of scary how cheap this is. Like this is not okay. It's like the price of water, dude. A little bit more, but
I got a liter of water for 0.4
okay,
or
fair
0.5.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, so
what if you can bring your own bottle to these people?
I bet you if we brought that bottle back, they would just fill that bottle.
They seem like they might.
No
be
doubt,
all right
no
with
doubt in my mind. Take that bottle back.
Can you hold my thing? We also figured something out about where we're staying, and this is chillaxing.
I'm not moving.
You gotta push the other button. There you go. You're going.
Oh, I was going.
What's up, y'all?
Oh yeah. I don't even know why we're paying for the room. I can sleep here, man. I don't know if this is going to work out, but having pizza every day seems like a good idea. So pizza number 2, we're having dinner tonight, and we've gone with a ricotta and spinaci. One thing that we've been struggling with is whether you're supposed to eat it with your hands or whether you're supposed to eat it with fork and knife. And literally, it's a mixed bag in this restaurant. I have surveyed at least 10 people, completely mixed bag, and some people start off knife and they turn to hands. So it gets really confusing. I should point out that it comes uncut. So to me that means you're gonna be using knife and fork regardless. The place that we've come this evening is, I don't know necessarily if I can say it's recommended by Google, but we just kind of found it that way and got a high score from 1,500 people. We read that it's not a tourist trap, so that's why we came here. It's a tiny slice. I don't think I've ever had spinach, this kind of like freezer kind spinach. Really good. The crust is thin and the edge is nice and crispy, but inside's kind of floppy. And it's absorbed some of the sauce and it's just all together. Ricotta, I didn't know what to expect, and now that I see it, that makes sense. It was between ricotta and brie. Kind of wish I'd gone with the brie. The spinach is a little bit wet, so that makes the pizza a little bit wetter. But overall, for the style and how they do their pizza, quite good. Would come back for sure. Like, very good.
The city completely transforms at night. All the tourists are gone. It's super, super quiet because there's no cars or anything, and it becomes a completely different type of beautiful. Just walking around over these little bridges with nobody else around in this complete silence, I can't even quite find the word for it.
I've just been whispering.
Yeah, you want to whisper. That's a really good way to put it. And it feels really personal almost, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I like that the darkness creates crevices in weird ways. I don't know how to express exactly what I'm seeing, but buildings just look different.
Yeah, it's a totally different atmosphere.
Like in the daylight, you can see every nook and cranny. In the nighttime, it's kind of like you can't, and your brain fills in spots for you, and that's just kind of fun.
If you come here, you gotta find one of these and then wander around at nighttime. Because I think this is almost more remarkable than the daytime, which is, let's be real, pretty remarkable as well. Hi, buddy.
It's morning time again, and we actually have an activity planned for this morning. I have a friend who came to Venice last year, and he had talked to me about things he had done, and I'd completely forgotten all about his vacation, as you do with everybody else's vacation, because it wasn't your vacation. And so I told him that I was coming, and he immediately was like, you need to go and do this activity. And what the activity is rowing your own gondola. And at first I was like, well, that's just going to be ridiculously expensive. And he told me it's pretty much the same price, or very close to the price you'd pay for sitting in a gondola and having somebody row you around for half the time. So I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I know that we paid 85 euros. And we're gonna get 90 minutes with a lesson on how to row the gondola. There'll be other people in the boat with us, so it's not gonna be 90 straight minutes for just us, but an experience that other people who are just sitting in boats aren't getting. Later today, I'm hoping to go around and find out what the prices are for the people just sitting in the boats, so I can feel good about this purchase. But right now, we're waiting to find our gondola people. We're the only ones standing in this very nondescript area of the canals. Where's our boat?
Sounds to me like Katie paid extra to do all the work.
You don't know if it's extra yet? I don't know if it's extra yet. I just let my friend convince me this is what you do.
I'm in Venice right now, and I'm rowing a boat. This doesn't make sense. You gotta make sure you don't let this thing hit other boats, because not okay. You got a lot you got to do. You got to keep like your elbows in and the other arm out, and you got to twist this thing in certain ways. It's a lot to remember just on the fly, and also not to hit other boats. All right, so we did our rowing adventure, and I was thinking in my head, like before we went and did it, like, oh, we'll be able to dictate as we go along and stuff. It's like not a thing. There's way too much going on in your head with like different motions and motor skills that you're trying to attain.
Because you're using your arms, you're using your whole body, you're hoping your feet don't fall out from underneath you. The boat is moving in an axis that you are not used to. You have an oar in your hands, and like if you don't hold it in the proper positions at the right time, it falls. And so
there's this Italian girl behind you, like telling you, like, move your left foot to the right, to the left, to the up, and to the right of the boat, to the left of them. You're like, wait, which way is the left, and where are my feet? And like, you're forward and back, and it's really, really a lot to take in. And I couldn't talk at the same time, basically.
Yeah, I couldn't talk at the same time. Sometimes I couldn't listen at the same time. And I got to the point where she said something to me. I continued doing the motion that I was doing, and I tilted my foot to the right, and she was like, good job. And I was like, that was a good job. I felt like I was actually doing something right.
So it turns out that we aren't actually on a what's the word? Gondola?
A gondola.
Gondola. It's a older type of boat, or another type of boat that is from back in the day that they used more commonly to move things around. And it was like, she said they would use them as ambulances and use them for the fire brigade and stuff, like back before they had motorized boats. And it was like the working man's boat.
And gondolas were the rich man's boat, or
to be chauffeured around.
You had a chauffeur, so we were not chauffeuring anyone. We were definitely transporting idiots on the water. Is what we were doing.
So she did explain that the motions and everything, the style that you're using and stuff, is kind of applicable to different types of boats. And even though it wasn't exactly a gondola, she had mentioned that it was probably a good thing that they teach you on these types of boats, and the reason that they choose them is because they're more stable. They're easier for beginners to learn how to use. And there's 2 points in them. I don't know, the gondolas, all of them that I've seen, have only had one person using them here. So
she didn't need a
she didn't
person
need
in
she,
the middle.
she can drive the thing on her own, but this one is designed so that 2 people can go. So the way that the day goes, the 90 minutes that you have with it, is they take you out just like of the normal little canals and stuff that they are here in Venice.
You have no idea what you're doing. Like you're really just trying not to hit stuff with an oar.
Yeah, and she is doing 99% of the work, and you're just trying to figure out the motions, because you have to twist it in ways that don't quite feel like supernatural, at first. I'm sure after a day or two of it, it starts to feel very natural.
My left arm, there's definitely muscles in it that have never done this backwards twisting that we were doing.
And then you just have to row it, and then you have to twist it again to get it out of the water, and then twist it before you put it back in. And like just it's only like 4 or 5 steps, but just to do them all with fluidity, and then to do them in sync kind of with her, and like with the right like power and everything, and then make sure you're not hitting other things. It's just a lot to do. And you end up paddling out of the canal area out into the lagoon, which is a big open area. I didn't expect that to happen.
You have to cross the motorway. There are water buses that go around the island, and you actually have to cross that motorway. And she's like, don't stop. Okay.
Yeah, she said that when the wakes from the boats hits you, if you keep paddling, it'll give you something to hold on to. Because you're just standing there, and it feels very easy to not be in the boat very much longer if you made a mistake.
There was like maybe 2 times that I was like, well, here we go, swimming.
She did show us how shallow the lagoon is, though. She took her oar and just touched the bottom of it. Like it was not, you would not drown. I could just stand. But it would not have been fun to get all wet. You look like an idiot, basically.
You look like an idiot, for real.
And when you get out there, the reason they take you out there is because there's nothing around, and then she can teach you to get on the back of the boat and learn how the steering and everything works, and how she actually maneuvers the boat with just one person, and the motions that go into that.
And you thought that the twisting that you were doing on the oar with your hands was strange then.
Yeah.
Now you had to learn how to over twist in the opposite direction to correct left and right in.
It's pretty cool because they have like, when you have a rowboat, you usually have 2 rows, or you have people like in a canoe, you have one person with an oar on the right and one person with an oar on the left, and then both go at the same time and it goes straight. But they've got this motion that they can do, so they only have one oar in the water and they can make it go straight. And it's just this overcorrecting and stuff that she's doing to make the boat go.
It's a fascinating talent. I'm sure they're talented, what they're doing. Everybody that's out here on the water that's doing this with their bodies is insanely talented. And
she's communicating with other boat drivers and stuff before they go around corners and stuff. There's a lot of blind corners. She's saying sound. She makes the noise. It says like, we're here, we're on the left side, we're on the right side, etc. I cut you off there. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, like, I would like to learn that talent a little bit more. But we were talking about it, and you were saying, like, you think you could do it in a day? Nah. I'd need weeks.
I think it would take about a day or maybe 2 days to get the motor skill down that's necessary.
Yeah.
And then like learning like how much power to put into things to make corners and like all that stuff.
Finessing would certainly take a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finessing to the point that I felt that I was a safe person.
Yeah. And I'm watching her back there. You put your feet down and you do not want to move them because it's frightening that you're going to fall in. You're worried about that. And she's in the back on the top where she has even less stability. The boat feels like it moves around more. And she's just standing on one foot and like stretching her leg and like looking at her phone and stuff.
Yeah.
All at the same time. And I'm just like, what? But I guess after a couple of months or years
she's having
or whatever,
conversations with boat drivers. I'm like, don't talk to me.
She's speaking to us in English, them in Italian. Like she's got a lot going on.
And it's all just natural.
So out there in the lagoon, she teaches each of us how to use the back area, and then she let us do some paddling together. So we got to like paddle and try to go in a straight line, and we kind of maybe we did more circles than straight lines.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get in a rhythm with another person who's learning. You're both learning. It's really like tricky to get that rhythm down. And after that, they just have you come back in, and it was 90 minutes, but it felt like.
Yeah, she was like, okay, we're heading back. And I was like, what?
Yeah, it felt like it went by super, super, super fast.
And I think one of the things that's good about it is that if you felt like there wasn't enough time and you wanted to do more, I think that's a good thing. Like,
it wasn't like, oh, I want to get out of here.
I guess you could see it as like it wasn't enough time to learn something, but you were not going
it's
to.
An experience.
It made me want to do more of that. And I've wanted to row boats more and do random, I want a boat.
Another side note is that all of the people that work here appear to be women.
At Row Venice. So we booked this through a company called Row Venice, and my friend Ryan had told me that he worked with 2 ladies, and that was surprising to me. And then a lady showed up to do ours today, and then every other instructor we saw was women. So I wonder if Row Venice is just women.
very interesting because all the other gondoliers have been men that I've seen.
Yeah, I
So it's
haven't seen any
interesting.
females that are doing the gondoliers with the actual like Italian attire on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like some of the ladies that we saw, one of them to me looked like she was going to be a hairdresser, and then the other one looked like what did I say? Like she's going to
Like
arrange some flowers or something like that.
You just don't expect that from them.
Like-
the girl that did ours looked like a girl that might be doing this kind of thing.
She looked like
looked
a
sporty
camp.
and stuff.
She was sporty and looked like she might be a camp counselor or
Yeah,
something like that.
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the experience was awesome. We got to go out on the water, and
Yeah.
it was more than just chilling. Maybe it would be cool to go around in just a normal style one, just to have them like point at things and tell you about like history types of things and like to learn about things a little bit.
From what I've seen, that's not what they're doing.
They're just
People are
going?
just sitting on the things. I haven't seen them communicating with the
dudes.
passengers. People are just taking their pictures and stuff. But
Yeah.
maybe, I've only seen it for a split second.
I'm way more into what we did than the.
I'm gonna kick him off the boat, start rowing it.
You could be a pirate.
Venetian pirate.
60. 40. Larga? Hi. She's Regina.
Okay. I thought to find out the prices for a gondola ride, I'd have to like start bargaining with some guy, but apparently there's just a gigantic sign here that lays it out, which I think saves time for people who want to find out how much it costs, and save times for the gondoliers as well. It's just flat out, at least at this pier. And it says that for 80 euros, you're going to get a 30-minute ride, and you can get 6 people onto your gondola for that. Wow. For 5 more euro, we got 3 times the amount of time, so 90 minutes, and we actually got to have an activity and feel some physical effort and be a part of the experience as opposed to just riding. So I think it was definitely worth it, and my friend's a genius. Well, I know my friend's not a genius, his wife, she's a genius.
How do you push?
How do you
The
push?
arms
Do you
down?
know? Do you know how to push
Yeah,
with your
like
hip?
that.
Like this?
Yes, when you're pushing.
And I'm
First,
pushing.
push the arms down. Extend the arms. More? Okay. Keep your longer. Hold your longer. Yes, and it's on your right side.
Yeah, we could just eat right here.
All right, our pizza of the day has happened. We actually got turned on to a little place here by somebody who follows us on Twitter, and they mentioned that this is one of the best pizzas they've ever had. And I looked it up online, and people kind of agree. It's apparently like a takeout place that the locals use, and it's a little bit outside of the touristy area, which is nice.
Well,
And
we had to truck through the tourist area, and
it takes a while to get through that.
this is a victory pizza.
So we busted up in there, and there's a really friendly girl working there, and they have a bunch of different pizzas that you can get by the slice, and you can also just order like a pizza. And we ended up getting the small pizza, which we think is definitely enough for 2 people.
And 6 euros.
And it was 6 euros, so it's like quite cheap. We didn't get like fancy or anything. It's basically just a pepperoni pizza.
To salamino.
Salamino, is that the type of pizza this is?
That's the sausage on
Oh, the
top.
sausage. Ah, okay. Like salami? Mm-hmm. Dude, oh my god, the cheese. The flavor of the cheese is incredible. Oh my god.
I was on the sauce, although the cheese was really hard to swallow because it was just like a quality cheese.
Oh yeah, and after
Spiciness of the salamino is quite incredible. The sauce is just super fresh. Feels super duper like a tomato just. I made friends with a tomato and then I ate it. Like we were so happy, and then I just decided, well, I don't really need to be your friend because you're delicious.
this is like legitimately amazing. This is a very, very good pizza. We've been talking a lot about how our perspective of pizza as Americans is that you put a lot of different things on it, and you have a lot of different flavors and a lot of experiences. And we also have the perspective of sushi, which is going to be an odd. Just hold with me for a second here. And people in America, when I see pictures of sushi that people eat in America, and like you see like on the line, people like hashtag it like food porn, and it's like this sushi dragon roll with all this stuff all over it. I'm like, that's not sushi. That's like, I mean, it's food, it's what it is, but that's not the why sushi in Japan is good to us. Like, I like sushi in Japan because it's pure. And it uses pure ingredients and it has pure flavors and stuff like that. And it's the simplicity of it that is what is so good about it. And I feel like the pizza here is focused on the simplicity and the purity. And I feel like this is a very simple thing. The dough is doing the job it needs to be doing. The sauce is doing the job it needs to be doing, etc., etc. What did you have a
These
problem?
are necessary.
Oh, why? What happened?
I got salami
Yeah.
stuffs all over my
You get some
hands.
pureness on your fingers.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this. They've done this very good. They haven't diluted it with tons and tons of extra stuff. There's not all this like craziness going on. There's no cheese stuffed into the crust. There's none of that. It's just a pure piece of pizza, and that purity to me is like what is I'm really appreciating with this.
And another thing that we've been thinking about is, like, we walk in and we see you can get things by the slice, but are people really getting things by the slice? Because we always opt, since there's two of us, to just get a whole pizza, have something incredibly fresh. Like, this
Yeah,
is the
she
freshest
made
this
it.
pizza could get.
I watched her put it in the oven. It was really good. It's just on fire, man. I might end up going back there and getting another piece of pizza at some point. Because this place is really good, and we're doing daily pizzas. We're gonna have to.
Daily pizza, so it's gonna be your dessert pizza.
Maybe.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow's pizza. I think we're hitting something that we're gonna hit a lot. Stuff that looks uber Italian, uber historic, just phenomenal and crazy, and that's real? It's not just something that people put outside for people to look at that isn't a real thing. I don't know how to explain. Like, we're seeing a lot of things. We've come over into San Marco area and we're seeing a lot of things that are just unreal. We're not sitting in Disneyland. Nobody's trying to impress us. Somebody tried to impress somebody with this at some point, but like, I'm at a loss for words, and I think we're gonna hit that a lot.
We stumbled across something. I found it kind of interesting. It looks like they're either repairing or building gondolas. We're not clear what stage of work is being done, but there was a dude doing some painting and just guys working like it's like the garage, you know, like a car garage, but only gondolas. You don't see that every day. All right, we found some gelato, and you said that this is like the oldest gelato.
Gelateria Nico, and it's one of the oldest.
One of the oldest
in
here.
Venice.
And I'm gonna get into mine right now. It's melting. I got like a rum one and a Kinder one.
Kinder Cereal.
Yeah.
Kinder
And,
Cereali.
and the rum is on the top, and it's just dripping all over my hand. That is hella good rum, like rum raisin ice cream or gelato. The Kinder stuff, I'm just assuming like Kinder as in like Kinder egg stuff. Is that what it is? It just tastes like chocolatey vanilla.
I don't know what it was supposed to be, but it looked crazy. Like in their
Yeah,
little
in
counter.
their thing, it looked
yeah,
nuts.
It looked insane.
You made the right decision getting a cup. Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah.
What did you get? And excuse
got-
me, y'all. I'm gonna keep eating.
I got mora, and I don't even know what that is.
It's purple.
You gonna be jealous, son? Blackberry.
Dude, that's hella good too. The flavors are really strong. Taste the rum though. No, watch out. We got some people coming through.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It's tight.
And we're back.
Yeah, that's rummy for sure.
Yeah, if you come here, don't do the cone. The cone was a huge mistake. Look at my hand.
The rum was the better choice.
Of the two, yeah.
Of the
The
two.
Kinder one
I
is
don't
boring.
understand what the
but
Kinder
Kinder
one
one
is.
looks amazing
It's
in
really
the thing.
soft, actually, now that I think about it.
I'm sitting here like eating this ice cream cone, and I've been telling you lately how I hate watching men eat ice cream cones. Like, it just disgusts me, like watching a man just like, ah. Here I am doing the thing. Should have got the cup.
You've taken it to a new level.
But I'm really getting to make a whole lot of people
You
uncomfortable.
got nuts on your hand, dude.
I do. Let me get those nuts.
One of the interesting things to ask people when you go to a new place is the tap water safe? And we've been in places where it hasn't been, and sometimes we've been in places where the bottled water isn't safe. So it can be a bit sketchy. But here you can drink the tap water, and you can certainly drink the bottled water. Nobody here is going to sell you something that looks sketchy. So that brings us to this lovely little fountain here. We've been seeing these, and we've seen people going up to them filling their water bottles, and to us this is like a hand washing thing. Like, this isn't, you can just put water in your bottle. It didn't seem like that was okay. But we've run into something interesting, and that is we can't really find convenience stores or supermarkets. And yesterday I bought a bottle of water, huge bottle of water, for €0.50. I went into a convenience store in the tourist area today, and it was €2.50. That is a 5 times markup. So I decided not to get the water bottle. Right now, really thirsty. So we immediately, we're looking for another supermarket, can't find that. Looking for a convenience store, can't find that. And then we started wondering, can you drink out of these? Because I would trust this lion. Give me some water. And we actually found out, yes, you can drink in them, and people in Italy have started a campaign to get people to use more tap water because the refuse that's caused from the disposal of bottled water is getting crazy here on the islands, massively expensive, not just from bottled water, but from everything. So they're trying to reduce how much stuff they're producing, trying to reduce the produce. So right now we're on the hunt for these, and we found a map that has these water fountains just charted out. This is the first one that we came to in our desperate attempt to find free water, but it was off. So we're gonna go and look for another one and see if we can find it. Just down the street we found another one. No go. And this one seems like it's been dry for a while. So get that map out. Gonna find us some more empty water fountains.
We found something else that falls into the vein of boat construction stuffs, and it's something that I wouldn't have known what was if we hadn't done the boat experience this morning, and it's this thing. And this little shop here seems to be manufacturing them by hand, like wood whittling them and stuff like that. And what it is it is a thing that goes into the side of the boat that then you can take an oar, like this big guy here, and then hook it into one of the two places and use it as what you push against, what all your energy is going against. It then moves the whole boat. The two different levels are for if you want to be able to just have the oar in and out of the water. So if you had two people moving it at the same time, you'd use one, and then you can switch it to the other one to help it keep it in the water the entire time. If you're going to do that like fishing it back and forth thing where you're steering the whole boat on your own. And that's about all I know. I don't even know what the things are called, but I think it's pretty cool that there's this here's the place that makes them, and it makes me wonder how many of these guys are actually here, if there's maybe just one. It looks like a pretty big operation they've got going on, but probably the type of operation that everybody in town is knows about.
I think we've been lied to. We good? We found one. If this kills me, at this point I do not care. It's cold, like good cold, man.
It tastes like milk.
They don't know. They don't know about the milk situation with me. No, it's not cold enough to be milk. So here's a story about me. Back when I was little, whenever I just wanted a sip of something, because since I'm American, I don't just go and get a glass of water. I just go to the fridge, and we would always have a gallon of milk in the fridge. So you just pop that open, chug some of that, that's how you grow up strong. And now, whenever I drink water that is very cold, my brain just tells me I'm drinking milk. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what it does. It's not cold enough to be milk. Oh, but we found it. This is free! Screw all those people who wanted my money. Refill? Don't mind if I do.
Maybe this is old news, but I'm an old dude and I don't know about what the kids are up to, but they're having a silent, like, disco, basically, in this square that's just in the middle of the city. And everybody's wearing headphones and they have lights on them, and they're all listening to the same music, and it's not annoying to the neighborhood because it's not like pumping bass or anything, but they're all like having a club right now outside and nobody but them can hear it. And the really cool part about it is that I know what songs they're listening to because they all sing the choruses, and all of a sudden they're like singing Backstreet Boys, or they're singing a Britney Spears song, or they're singing the Spice Girls. And it's all like late and early 90s pop music from the States, which I find odd because the crowd here is quite young. Like, I'm not sure any of these kids were born when those songs were new, but they know all the choruses. It's amazing.
This guy's shipping bananas. Are you gonna trust me when I have a boat? We hope everyone enjoyed our first video from beautiful Venice. If you did, liking, subscribing, and commenting helps our channel grow. Our videos are made possible with support from Patreon. If you'd like to help us make more videos, that's the best place to go. Links below. Up next, more from Venice, and then a ton from Croatia.